everyone, and welcome to the 77th episode of NiinaN Knitting. My name is Niina, and I live in Jyväskylä in central Finland with my husband, our two kids, and a dog. And this is my knitting podcast where I talk about mostly knitting, but actually today I have one crochet project or crochet finished object too. It's been a while. Again, last time I recorded, it was the beginning of the summer. Today it is Tuesday, August 15th, and this is the first day I've been teaching after summer vacation. School started last week. And yeah, I have stuff to show you. I am on my way home from work. I have the sun right in that direction, very, very bright and very warm. And I'm not complaining, I like warm. But let's see how it goes with the screen and all. You know, technical stuff. And I'm not very interested in the technical stuff. I try to just make do, let's say. So, what do I have for you? I have 6 finished objects, and then I have a whip. I actually only have 2 whips at the moment, so I've been finishing stuff and not starting stuff a lot. But yeah, I have 6 things that I can show you today. Actually, 2 of them I don't have with me anymore, but I have some footage. And yeah, maybe we'll start with the first one, which is something that I filmed at some point towards or at the beginning of summer somewhere. So yeah, this is the piece I recorded in advance. I was scrolling on Instagram one day, and I happened to come across, no, it wasn't Instagram, sorry, it was on Facebook. So I happened to see a picture of really nice tank top on one of the like knitting Facebook groups that I am on. And it was the designer of the tank top who showed their pictures, and they were saying that they'd made this tank top and they were looking for test knitters. And I was like, oh, what a pretty tank top. Not for me, because well, I wouldn't be happy with how it looks on me in my size. But I and my daughter, just, it was a pretty lacy thing, and it's not my daughter's style at all. But I do have 3 nieces, so I messaged my sister saying that, okay, can you measure girls? I want to make these tank tops, and maybe, you know, if I get to test knit as something. And so she did, and I contacted the designer, and they had an available slot in the size of one of the girls. So the next day I went to the yarn store in Jyväskylä, and I bought the yarn. So this is, I don't know if it's gonna focus, but this is Sandness Garn Line yarn, which is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. So it's nice and sort of nice for summer wear. And it has, what's the meterage? 110 meters in 50 grams, which means 220 meters in 100 grams. So what does it make? It's what is it? Sports weight? or DK. I don't know. Whichever. So I bought it in the colorway 1002, which is really bright white. I have my swatch in here. I made this the same way I did for my sweater. So I started with I think the smaller size, smaller needles that were in the pattern. And I know that I'm a tight knitter, so I know that normally I need to go up one size, at least one size, to get the gauge. And this is very, very thick. No, not thick, but dense for something, for a tank top, something to wear in the summer. I don't think this would be nice. And this is 3.5 millimeters. So size 3.5. And so I changed into the bigger needles, size 4, which is US size 6. And this is nicer. It's more it's not as stiff as a fabric, but it's not too see-through either, I think. And then I tried size 4.5, which is pretty loose. I'm not sure. Maybe this actually could have been okay too. And then this is size 5, which is just very, very airy, and I'm not sure what people wear under their tank tops. Maybe just a bra, maybe not even a bra, I don't know. But I don't think I'd be comfortable wearing a tank top like this, which has just, it's way too see-through. So the idea of the tank top is that you use bigger needle for the bottom where you have some lace, and then you change into smaller needles for just plain stockinette for the upper part of the tank top. So I chose my 4.5 millimeter needles for the lace, and then I have this 4.0 millimeter. So 4.5 is US number 7, and 4.5 is US, no, 4 millimeter needle is US size 6. And let's see if I can take this without rocking my camera. So here it is. Looks very, very small. It has negative ease, and I'm going to give this to my niece between now that I'm recording and when I will upload an episode or edit the episode. So if I have gotten any photos of her wearing this, I'll put them on the screen. But I don't know if she'll want to try it on when I'm there, and if she does, whether she'll want me to take photos, because you know, it's a young girl. So anyway, I like the look of it. Maybe this could have been looser, so maybe I could have used 4.5 millimeter needles in this part and the bigger ones in the lace. So now 5 millimeter needles in the lace, and then there are these knots in here too. But we'll see how it looks on her. And if it doesn't, maybe they'll find somebody who's small enough to wear it without, you know, without it looking in a way that it doesn't look embarrassing, because we don't want that. So on a very slim person, this would be really nice. So without negativities, I think it could look really nice on somebody who has a little bit of curves. So with negative ease, but we'll see. We'll see. But it's very, very pretty. It's really beautiful. And it was a joy to knit. The yarn itself, it's quite a thick yarn. And because it's a natural it's a plant fiber, cotton and linen, and then the viscose. It's not stretchy it's not very stretchy. So whenever you're doing, like, I was working this part in the round, but then of course had to switch doing back and forth for the between the armholes. You can really see here that I'm doing back and forth and not in the round anymore. So if you look at the purl side of it, you can see that every second row is just a little bit looser. I don't think that it shows too much here on the knit side. And then of course, if you're check out the part that I was doing in the round, the purls of course are the same tightness, because I'm not doing purls and knits, I'm just knitting. So it is the same tension in there. But yeah, we'll see. It was very, very, very pretty, and I did one thing differently than in the pattern, because in the pattern they use the same needles for the sort of the neckband and these narrow bands around your armholes. For me, it was too loose, so I used I think 0.25 millimeter smaller needles here in the neckband and in the armholes, because it was doing this a lot when I did it with the same size needles, because you have these, and I haven't checked what this stitch is called. It's not purl, and it's not bead stitch. Is it a bead stitch in English? Maybe. Don't know. Anyway, so that's the only thing I did differently. And of course, the fact that I had one size bigger needles altogether in the whole project. But yeah, it's pretty, and it weighs 170 grams. So I needed to buy 4 skeins or 4 balls of yarn to use in it. But I do have quite a bit of leftover from one, besides my, of course, my swatch. So if I make another one for another niece, I'll get some use out of the one left over, I think. I have no idea what I told about my first finished objects. I hope I gave you all the details that I wanted to. But my second finished object, also something that I don't have anymore, but I think I took a piece of video with no talking. I'm just gonna put it, run it over my face. But it is a pattern called July Socks by Lucia Dedesco or something. Lucia. It's a pair of socks for my niece, my sister's youngest daughter. I used my 2.5 millimeter needles, that's US size 1.5, and the yarn in here is a delightful color, Skein Queen Crush, which is, I think, 75% merino, 25% nylon, and about 400 meters in 100 grams. But the colorway is called Chamomile. Very, very pretty, and I think it knit up really nicely. The pattern is a toe-up sock. I was knitting them 2 at a time on magic loop, and if I remember right, it used to be maybe it was a mystery sock, maybe not. Anyway, toe up. The pattern had, I think, 56 stitches, but I know from experience that I have to have at least 60 stitches in a fingering weight yarn in my 2.5 millimeter needles in order to get sufficient circumference for the sock. Inside hindsight, I could have even used or increased up to 64 stitches, I think. But anyway, that's the kind of sock that I knit, or socks. And there was a patterning on the top of the foot, and I think it was something on a pearl background, laces and maybe cables on pearl background. The way I did it was, of course, the sole of the sock was plain stockinette, but then I just added pearl stitches on each side of the whatever motif I had, and then the pattern told to work the sock up until a certain length before starting the heel or the gusset increases. I did that, and then afterwards I turned one sock or one heel and looked at the sole of the foot, or the sort of the length of the foot, and said, no, this is not big enough, because this particular niece has about the same size foot as mine, and the sock was just way too small. But if you see my podcast before, you will know maybe, or maybe you'll remember that I don't knit toe-up socks too much. So I don't have a sense of how long the foot needs to be before starting the gusset increases. And so, of course, what I needed to do was to rip back until the start of the increases, and then added a certain number of centimeters to the length, and then do it all over again. And maybe I could have even knit it just a tad bit longer, I think. But that's the pair I made, and they're pretty. They're really pretty. And like I said, the yarn and the colorway is just great. I actually have given them to my niece, but it was in a situation where I just handed her the package, and then, or the gift, the present, and she didn't have time to open it and try them on and all that. But I'm pretty sure, well, it's knitwear, so I'm guessing it stretches a bit so that they'll fit her feet, I hope. My third finished object is another one of trial and error, and fixing or not fixing, actually. So quite a long time ago, I was thinking about crocheting a bolero, and I found a pattern on Ravelry. It was for a specific yarn, which I didn't have or didn't even try to find, because I had some yarn. It was something that I had bought from the grocery store or the store chain Lidl, and it was a sock yarn. I think it's fingering weight. I don't have the ball bands or anything here with me. But the original yarn, I think, was heavier weight. But it was possible to adjust the pattern, or that's what I thought. It could have been. Okay, so it was a case of measuring your back and starting with the back piece wide enough for your back. Then you'd crochet up and then start doing the front pieces and then seam the sides. What I did, and which was an error of mine, I measured myself and apparently didn't do a very good job doing that. Or maybe I had sort of a glitch in my sort of planning or whatever. Well, I'll just show you. So this is the bolero. I mean, it's pretty. So you start from the back, from the bottom of the back piece, you crochet up, and then at some point you start doing the front pieces. First of all, one of them, and then the second one. And then you join the side seams and you finish with the border and the tying laces. And it's a nice enough bolero, sort of what I was looking for, but, well, as you can see, no, it doesn't fit. And it isn't because I got a lot bigger after I had started and done the measuring. It was just because I made it too small. Anyway, I didn't have it in me to start, ripping it back and doing it all over again, doing it wider. No. I mean, it's okay, but I can't wear it. I haven't even tried it on my daughter because I thought I might, at least so that I'd get a few photos of how it looks. But I know that this is not something that she would wear. So I can't give it to her. So it's nice and finished and all that, but I don't know where to put it now that I'm finished it. But it's off my whip list. Let's see if I can find. So this, the pattern's called Lacy Bolero. It's by Girly D. De los Reyes, I think. I have written it really badly. And have no idea which size hook I used or anything, but it's finished and I've shown it to you, and now I'll just have to figure out where to put it. Right, so the socks were like doing and redoing. The bolero, maybe not quite a success, and the first thing I have is a case of doing and redoing, knitting and re-knitting, because this one is a knitting project. Now I have a sleeveless top with some lacing that I knit some years ago, and I really like it. And I thought that I might even do the same one again, and that's exceptional because I very rarely use the same pattern again because there are so many great patterns in the world. But I had the pattern. I actually had a copy printed out, or I think it was from a magazine, and I had taken photocopies. And so I went to a store to buy some yarn, and I was like, okay, I'll need to have 300, I think 300 meters in 100 grams to get the right weight of yarn. And I was looking at different yarns. Okay, no, this one's not right. This one is not right. Ooh, pretty color. And yes, it has the right meterage. Great. I'll buy this. And then I bought, I think I had used 300 grams in the previous version. So that's how many balls of yarn I bought, I think. And then I went home and looked at the ball band again and discovered that no, it's actually a lot heavier than I thought, or just anyway. So plan B, change of pattern. Try to find a pattern to suit this yarn, and then I found it. And this is the top, or the sleeveless tunic. I'll put a picture on the screen because I'm not wearing it, and I think it'll be difficult to put it on and swirl around or something here. But I have some photos, so I'll just put them on the screen. And now this pattern is called sleeveless tunic by King Cole Limited. And I used 4.0 millimeter needles, US size 6, for, how was it? So that's for the stockinette part. And then they told to use a bigger needle for the lace. So that's 4.5 millimeters, and that is US size 7. It's a bottom up sewn in or knit in pieces sort of thing. And the yarn I used is Drops Muskat in colorway number 81, and this one weighs 365 grams. And okay, so what did I do? First of all, I started with one size instructions, knitting up from the hem, and decided after maybe up in here, after 3 repeats of this lace, that it's gonna be just way too wide. And then I ripped it out and did one size smaller or something. And I had started, I was actually where I still had like 2 columns of the lace, and then realized that yes, I have 2 columns or 2 sort of pillars of lace, which means that I won't be able to have one tall and then two shorter ones and then going down. And I didn't like the idea of that, so I ripped it out again and took the size smaller in order to get an uneven number of these lace panels, so that I could have one in the middle and then pairs of lace panels to each side. And of course, figuring that yes, it is going to be wide enough for me to use. It wasn't going to be too narrow, which was okay. So I knit one of the pieces. I left, I think it decreases up until one stitch here at the shoulder. I left that live, the one stitch live, and then I did the front piece, and then the next thing that you were going to do was to do the neck finishing, yes, and then do the side seams. And that's when I discovered that oops, I think it was in the pattern that this smallest column has 3 repeats of the motif, and then you just make the next one 2 columns longer, and then 2 more and 2 more. And what I had done with the second piece, the front piece, or which I thought would be the front piece, was that yes, I made 3 repeats. This one was 6 repeats. This one was 9 repeats. So the front piece itself was significantly longer than the back. And doing the side seams was impossible, of course. So, of course, luckily it's yarn and you can just rip it out and redo it. So that's what I did. I undid the collar. I ripped back the longer piece up until where I had these like 3 repeats of the motif left, and then I knit it back up. So yes, I had to redo this quite a few times, but knowing that, I'm going to have to say that this Drops Muskat yarn seems to hold pretty well to wear and tear, knitting and ripping back and knitting again. So if you're looking for yarn like this, I think this will be a good idea. The fiber content in this, is it 100? This might be 100% cotton, but I'll write it on the screen if it isn't, because I can't remember, and of course I don't have the ball band with me. But yeah, it was a fun knit. Luckily, it's a heavyweight yarn, so it doesn't really take a whole lot of time to, do it all over again once, twice, 3 times. Well, how many times ever you need to. But I did have to go to the store and buy some more yarn after I had thought that that I'd be doing the first pattern I thought about. But yeah, it's nice, and I've been wearing it this summer. I like it. Because of the lace, I don't like to wear it like just with my skin. I do have a really what's it called? tank top with the shoulder straps, or no, well, whatever. So I do have a small tank top under this one when I wear this, but it's nice and I like it. I might even wear it to work if the weather holds up like this. Now the next finished object, I actually hinted, I think last time, when I was showing I think the oldest niece's socks, I said that I have an idea what to do with the rest of the yarn. And I have done the idea. And here it is. I know people have been going crazy with all the gnomes. So I decided, okay, I'm going to use some of the rest of the yarn and knit each of the girls a gnome. And this is a pattern called Here We Gnome Again by Sarah Shira. And I have used 3.0 millimeter DPNs when I've knit this. And the yarn here, this blue one, is the one that I used for this niece's socks. I still have this amount left. So this is, again, oh, okay, don't know if it's gonna focus. Probably not, but it's Skein Queen Crush in colorway April Showers. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and has 425 meters in 100 grams. And the beard, his white beard, and his little hands are just drops fable, which is, this is colorway number 100, and this is 410 meters in 100 grams, 75% wool, 25% polyamide. And yeah, so it's a paid for pattern, and I'm going to use it 3 times, once for each niece. You start with the hat, has this wonderful cable stuff going on, and then you finish it. I think it had a tassel in the instructions, but I'm not too crazy about tassels. I'm not sure if I'm gonna add one or not. So it may not be finished yet. I think I'm not gonna put a tassel there, I think. So yes, so you do the hat, and then you pick up stitches from the brim, and then you do the body part with all the cables, and then you start stuffing it with just stuffing things, the white fluffy thing. And then the instructions tell to use some pellets or something, I don't know. I have beads here, pretty big plastic beads, so that it'll be heavier in the bum, and of course it'll stand better because the butt's flat. And then you do the hands and the beard with a little nose. It's fun, pretty fiddly, but yeah, I think I can make 2 more of these using the rest of the yarn for each niece. And this one is number 1. And did I write down anything? Nope. Pretty okay. I think I did need to flying ant with ANT. I did have to look at the pictures quite a bit because I just can't understand what I read or something. So reading comprehension is a struggle. But yeah, I think this one looks okay. So the next one will be at least similar, if not the same. But one gnome done. And really, I hope that I'll do the two others too before Christmas and, give them as a Christmas present. And I still have to take some photos. I think I'll put him somewhere here and take some nice photos before I go on and go home. My last finished object is a rocket tea. I think it was a French podcaster. So I have some yarns in here, but they have been woven in, and I have blocked it, but I haven't snipped the ends of the yarns. And I don't have any pictures on Ravelry of me wearing this. Let's see if I can get any pictures. But yes, Rocket Tea by Tanis Lavallée. Yes, I think. And I knit size 44 inches. I think it's the bust measurement is 44 inches. And these yarns are something that I actually started as another project. I'll put a picture. I was making the V-back tee, I think. I have knit one before, and I had used advent calendar yarns from Giddy yarns with my first V-back tee or something. And then I had I'd ordered 2 sets of 5 10-gram minis from her. So one of the sets was with this sort of blue color, blue and teal and all that. And then the other set was with different shades of pink and magenta and sort of reds. And then I asked her to custom dye me a full skein of yarn with similar colors to the minis, and she did that, and I was really happy with how it looked. And then I started knitting the V-back tee, and I started with just the minis, and then thought that the rest of the shirt would be this sort of variegated from the full skein. But when I had finished the minis and actually even knit on, I just didn't like the look of it, because the stripes ended with more or less in the middle of my boobs, and then it was just plain same sort of color the rest of the shirt. And it didn't look nice, or didn't look the way I thought it would. Maybe it would have looked okay, but I had a different vision, and that wasn't what I got. But I had watched some French podcasters. I think it was Eve, who is EV3. How does she say it? EV3, I think. She also dyes yarn, but she has a podcast, and she's been talking about Rocket Tea t-shirt pattern, and the idea of the the pattern is that you're alternating fingering weight yarn and lace weight mohair silk or something like that, and you have stripes. You use the same colorway yarns but different weights and different fiber content. But I decided that I would just use the stripes from the minis and then the full skein in every other row. Yeah. Uh, but actually, with this one too, I had to do it twice. But because initially I had chosen size 46 inches because that was correspondent with my bust size, I think. And this is knit from shoulder down or collar down or whatever, neckline down, and I had separated for the sleeves and then knit on the body a little bit, and then I tried it on the size 46 inches and figured, yeah, okay, bit loose, but yeah, it's gonna be fine. And then I just knit on, alternating with a certain number of rows with one yarn, and then switch to the other yarn, etc., up until I had more or less run out of the minis, because I used each mini once. And I tried the shirt on, and it was somewhere above my belly button or something. I was like, no. Besides, it was, had quite a bit of positive ease. So I ripped it back and started it in the smaller size. And should I try it on so that you could see the size? No, I'll try and get some photos, because it'll take me a while to edit this, and I won't be able to upload it today or tomorrow, maybe later in the week or possibly next week. So I'll have time, hopefully, to get photos of me wearing this, and you can see how it looks on me. But I do think it's a good fit. So this size, 44 inches, is good, and of course allowed me to have enough yarn. I did actually use this color twice. The one that I had, the last stripe of the hem, is the one that I have here, the first color on the shoulder. I had enough because I used very little of it in here, because you have less stitches in the beginning. So I had enough yarn to do another like sort of wide stripe, and then finish with the full skein. And then it has an I-cord bind off, and did I have enough? I actually, yes, I did have enough to bind off here in the hem, but then of course doing the neckline and the armholes, I did run out. So I think I did the neckline next. I used one of the stripes, I think, and I had quite a bit of leftover for this color, but then I think it started from here, and then I knit round here, and maybe the last, I don't know, 3 centimeters is a different yarn. But you can't really see it if you don't know it, because it is a stripy yarn, or stripy shirt. And this is from just one mini, I think, maybe this one. I think it's this mini, and then this other armhole is a number of reddish color leftovers from minis. How many ends of yarns do I have? 1, 2, 3. I think I've used 4 bits of different colors in here. But yeah, you can't tell if you're not really looking and if you don't know. But it's a fun shirt, and I think the neckline isn't too down, because I would like to wear this at work, and because I work with young students, maybe they wouldn't say anything, but still, I mean, don't feel comfortable having all my décolleté showing. So I think this will be a decent enough neckline V for work too. But I really like it, and I like how it ended up. And yeah, I can recommend the pattern and all. So very, very nice. And I don't remember if it had a certain centimeters. Maybe it said to knit down a certain number of centimeters. Actually, it's not just knitting. You do have a sort of a lacy thing here at the seams, maybe to prevent twirling of the piece or the shirt. This way the seams stay straight and won't start doing this spiral. But I didn't measure with a tape measure. I just measured it on me because I really didn't want to have too short of a garment, or didn't want to have the t-shirt too short, because I tend to stop knitting them too early, and then I don't wear them because I don't like the feeling of maybe showing my belly or something. So if you just try it on and decide yourself how long you want to have it, because of course you can make it a cropped version if you like that. Just not what I was looking for. Did I tell anything? I didn't tell you that I used 4.0 millimeter needles. That's US size 6. And yes, the yarns are Giddy yarns. Merino nylon is the custom dyed, and the same base for the minis. So I have had 2 sets of 5 10-gram minis for the stripes, and I really like it. And when I get home, maybe I'll just cut these off and start wearing it. Wild. Oh yeah, I actually have my leftovers from the shirt. So I have 100 grams in full skein, and then 2 sets of 5 10-gram minis, which means another 100 grams. So I had 200 grams of yarn, and this is all I have left. I haven't weighed it, but yeah, I was really using all of it, and actually have the ball band for the full skein. Probably not going to focus because I never managed to do that. But yeah, Giddy yarns, and she's a lovely person. I have ordered stuff from her before. Right, I think that makes 6 finished objects, if I counted them right. My work in progress is actually something that has grown quite a bit. I didn't mention that I have all my Ravelry projects linked down below, but yeah, you'll see when I started each project, and you can check which date I started um, this project. But I had a sweater that I knit um, 7 years ago. You've seen it in my podcast if you've watched my podcast back then. It's called Breathing Space from, just slipped out of my mind. It's from, oh my goodness. She does the knitting books with Hohi Lokateli. She's a Finn, so that's why I'm blanking on her name. She's a Finn like me. Embarrassing. I'll have to put her name on the screen because I can't think of it right now. Breathing space. Välimäki. Somebody Välimäki. I can't remember. Tiina, Teresa. I don't know. You'll find it on the screen. So anyway, I had knit my breathing space. I really liked it. It has sort of short stripes, and I had bought a really wonderful red colored MCN Merino cashmere nylon yarn from Stranded Dyeworks, and then I used some drops something for the white stripes because I had wanted to make it red and white, and I used it quite a bit, and it grew quite a bit, so it became really, really large on me, and that's why I stopped wearing it. And I can show you how it looks still. So this is the upper part, and you can see how wide it looks on me right now. It didn't used to be this wide, but you can see something in here. Actually, in the intro, I will have put an intro where you can see me knitting the work in progress, and you can see this one peeking out from my project bag because yes, I decided to repurpose the yarn because I love them, and make another shirt. And now I haven't marked it here, the name of the pattern. It's called onde, which means waves in French, or was it just, yeah, onde, but I can't remember the design. Oh my. A tale of not remembering people's names. I am embarrassed. You'll find it on the screen. So onde, and it also has stripes, but they're wider. It's knit from top down, and I have knit quite a bit. So where does it start? Which is the front and which is the back? This is the front, yes. But of course I do have quite a small needle. Yes. Anyway, so you cast on some stitches and you work back and forth in the beginning. You do seed stitches on the shoulders, so there's a panel of seed stitches on the shoulders, and then plain stockinette in the front and in the back with just the main color. You can see that my stockinette isn't very even, and that is because I have been using this shirt as a sock blank. but after I block it, it'll even out, and I am confident that it will look really nice. But anyway, so at one point you'll change colors, do like, first of all, I think there were some sort of raglan increases, and now we're doing increases for the sleeves. And I'm not far from, I think I'm not far from separating the sleeves from the body of the shirt. I think it will look nice once I finish it. But this is what I've been doing recently, and I really, really enjoy knitting it. I'm using my 4.0 millimeter red lace, Chagu red lace needles. I have an interchangeable set, and these are my 4.0 millimeter needles. That's size 6, US size 6. Yeah, and I am frogging as I go. So when I need more of the white, I've been frogging the red stripes and putting them on a small ball. And now I've been using more of the, actually I've used more of the red than the white, and that's why I do have a small ball of the white here in my attached to my project. And now I'm doing a stripe in the red color. Really enjoying it. Really fun. That's my only whip that I actually have been working on for quite a while. And this is my project that I made a few years ago. Okay, that's all for the knitting and the crochet. So trying and erring. Trial and error. Maybe I'll use that as the title. I probably will have used it in the title. Yes, but just a bit of chatter. If you're not interested, we'll see another time. I'll see you another time. Yes, so this summer we spend quite a bit of time in the countryside at my mother-in-law's. My sister-in-law was there with her family, and like, she has 2 boys, and her husband, well, they're not married, but the father of her children. Stupid. Yes, so they're together, and then our family, and my husband and our son went fishing, spent a week up in the north fishing with a few of my husband's friends, while me and my daughter, or our daughter, we went to my mom's and spent about a week at my mom's. Saw one of my sisters and other relatives, and just enjoyed being there. And then I've been home quite a bit. Usually at least one of my kids or our kids has been there with me during the vacation. And then last Wednesday was the first day at school for my daughter, and my son ended his summer vacation, or started school again this Monday, and today is Tuesday. So it was yesterday. Yes, it was. Yeah. So we actually I ended my summer vacation last week. We had a day of planning together with all the teachers. And then after that, I've been trying to go through my groups that I have and the different courses that I'm doing that I've started teaching this week or am starting to teach this week. And then, of course, there are some students from last year who have maybe done a little bit extra work to make up for stuff. And well, it's hectic, very out there. So not very cohesive and just going one track, being all over the place. Yeah, the start of a school year. That's how it is, at least for me. Yeah, and oh, I'm losing my earbuds. I hope the sound's okay. And now the sun is going behind a tree, so it is creating weird shadows. And of course, I have had a weird shadow all the time because one side of my face is in the sun and the other half is in the shadow. But this worked best for me, and I haven't looked at the screen more or less at all, so my gaze will have been weird because I haven't been looking at you. Sorry. Oh, it's also very complicated. Why was I talking about life? Yeah, so this is how it is. Hopefully, I'll find a certain routine in everything fast. I'm just meeting new students, and of course, I have different roles at work. I have sort of I'm in charge of certain things this year, things that I didn't do last year. So just finding my way. But yeah, so I hope everybody's okay. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. I know that most of Europe is in a heat wave. We're not. Well, it's been nice now, but we had quite a bit of rain last week. But yeah, I hope you're all well. I hope you're enjoying yourselves and maybe getting some knitting done if that's what you like to do. Reading. I have been reading, but I'm not bothered to talk about that now. And I will get back to you at some point when I have stuff to show you and when I have a chance to record an episode or at least bits of video. We'll see how the next episode is going to be and when that is. Only time will tell. Okay, talk to you later and have a really nice end of summer and fall because, well, I'll be back. See ya.